For the last week and a half, I've been thinking and praying about this passage of Scripture. I knew I was going to be preaching. I hadn't preached for the last 2 weeks, and so I had a lot of time to think, to pray, to read. Reflecting on how it applies to our lives, to our local church community. And while I've been working on this message, the other thing we've been working on, we're planning our re-entry into meeting again in person. You've heard me say that for July, we're keeping all of our gatherings online, but we're working towards a plan, and hoping at the beginning of August. And our plan is almost complete. We've had several meetings getting those details together. And our goal was the beginning of August. When we set that date, we were aiming for the numbers and statistics concerning COVID cases, hospitalizations, and the like were very different than they are today. It seemed like things were opening up, and we didn't all agree on the things opening up. It seems like the numbers were supporting that, okay, this is going to be all right. And Ohio had done a good job of flattening the curve. Other churches have started to meet in person, many of them outside, some of them inside, though, with social distancing and masks. And by the way, did you know that the state of Ohio never legally mandated churches not to meet? Did you know that? Other states did, but Ohio never did. So legally, any church could have continued to meet and never stopped. Easter could have been in person, all these things. Governor DeWine never issued a legal binding thing that said churches could not meet. But few did, and why? That's because the commitment to loving our neighbor, being wise, and honoring the spirit of what the governor asked us to do called us to make that decision to stop meeting in person. It's not unrelated to what I've been talking about today, what Peter was talking about. We want to show our communities that we love them, that we're not going to use our freedom just because we could. And so as things have started to reopen and we've seen other churches begin to safely do so, wearing masks and the likes, we thought we should plan as well too. But with the rising number of cases and hospitalizations and us being in level 3 or red based on the numbers in Cuyahoga County, this just doesn't seem wise or prudent any longer to have that aim for the first weekend in August. We simply don't know which direction things will go in this state. In addition, Governor DeWine, though not mandating anything this past Wednesday evening, made a plea for Ohioans to reconsider what they're doing to slow down the spread of the virus, to reconsider our plans. And this made me pause. It made some of our reopening team pause too, because we're literally in the process of making plans. And he said, would you reconsider the plans that you're making so that we can try to curb this thing and kids can get back to school and all the things that we're longing for longer term can happen with short-term decisions. And it made me think of these verses. What would Peter say to us, Lakewood Vineyard, in the spirit of these verses? It's rare that there's such a practical application when you're preaching from a message. For us, it just doesn't seem like right now is a time as Lakewood Vineyard to protest or resist. It doesn't seem like a time where our rights are being taken away to meet in person, because they literally haven't been taken away. They're still there. But out of our love for our community, out of wisdom, out of desire to honor our leaders, we're going to push back our plans for at least a few weeks until we see what direction the virus is going in our county and state. We don't know what direction it's going, and so we're not going to give a timeline of when we'll be back in person because we don't know what direction things are going. And I know some of you will be disappointed, and I'm disappointed, and I understand that. And that's why we've worked hard to create these few outdoor events that are coming up, a women's night and then a picnic at Edgewater, places where we can space out, we can wear masks, we can bring our own things to the picnic, using wise decisions at the women's night in order that we can see each other in safe ways and socially distanced ways, where we can still honor our government leaders, use wisdom, and choose love. This is the heart that I have for Lakewood Vineyard. This is who I want us to be as a community. That we would do good in our world. We would do good in our world, that so when there's accusations that come, just like those listeners in 1 Peter, that when accusations come, some of them we can't avoid. We believe that Jesus is the only way to God. We can't avoid that one, that we believe Jesus was resurrected, was brought to new life so that we could have new life. We can't avoid people thinking we're weird for that. But we want to do as much good as we can in the world, so that when these accusations come, they can't dismiss us out of hand, but say there is something different about this church, about these followers of Jesus, and that there would be interest in finding more about the new life that we say, the hope that we say we have in Jesus. And this was the message that Peter was writing to this church, to these Christians. And this is the message that I feel like Lord has for us. And so I know you might be disappointed, you might be frustrated. Reach out to me, I'd be happy to chat. I'd be happy to talk more through this, to pray together. I'd be happy to do that. But here's my encouragement. As we remain online, if you're not in a community group, jump on. They're still on our website. Do it. Come to some of these gatherings. Do it safely. We'll do it wisely. If anything changes and the government restricts, even that we'll let you know as well too. But please engage, don't disengage. Don't wait till things go back to quote unquote normal. We don't know when normal is coming back, but here's the invitation that I want to give to you today. Press into Jesus. Press into community. Press into loving our neighbors, our coworkers, the people we go to school with well. This isn't a time for us to pause. It's a time for us to move forward as witnesses to the gospel of Jesus, to the hope that we have.